Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. We're here for another one of our mass making sessions. We're up to week number, let me just check, 259, would you believe? We are making quick and easy pockets today. So if you would like to join in, what would you need to have? I've got some paper here. Now my paper is printables, and I say this all the time, that's because that's what I predominantly have these days. You do not have to use printables. What you're ultimately going to need is a square sheet of paper. Now mine are A4 size, and I'm going to make squares from this, which will then be the ideal size. So the sort of size for my square is going to be 2, 4, 6, kind of 8 inches around about. So if you've got some 8x8 scrapbook paper or something, that would work. I would stress I would not use too much of a bulky paper. So if you've got scrapbook paper that's kind of like a 250 GSM, I think that's going to be too thick. It would bulk your pockets out. You could use book page, but again, you're looking for a sort of 8-inch type square. So not a tiny book, but maybe like if you have some coffee table books or something, you could cut those down. Sheet music, again, you could get sheet music because obviously that tends to be bigger pages. So you're going to need paper. Now I would recommend something double-sided because it's going to cut down in the processes that you're going to need to do. Otherwise you are going to need to kind of just fill in the space that is not a patterned paper, if that makes sense. So all of mine today are double-sided papers. I've actually kind of spent the time this morning making sure I've printed off double-sided papers. So mine are double-sided. They are 120 GSM, which is thicker than copy paper, but it's not obviously that really thick paper that's going to bulk the pockets out. Aside from that, you're going to need either a paper trimmer or your scissors. I'm using my scissors, but if you like to use a paper trimmer, that's fine. You might need a bone folder. Again, I'm going to probably just use my scissor handles, so up to you really how you do that. You might want to have a glue spreader. I like to just use an old sort of store card or, you know, anything like that. I like to have a tissue or a dry wipe. I don't seem to have any dry wipes at the moment, just to kind of like mop out the excess glue. And then talking of glue, I always use really the Anita's tacky glue. It's PVA based glue, and yeah, that's what I like to use really for paper. Aside from that, you might want to have your ink blendy tool and your ink. This is Distress Oxide and it's Vintage Photo, so that's the ink that I would be using. And then aside from that, optional extras would be something like a corner rounder if you want to use things like that. And of course, things for decorating. Now, my desk being my desk, I've got loads of things that I can just put in to decorate 1 or 2 at the end. So we'll just kind of see how we get on. But I normally tend to leave them, you know, kind of plain and then decorate them later on. Okay, so how do we make these? Let's have a look. So I'm going to just take the first sheet of paper now. I will try and remember to tell you the papers that I'm using as we go. Okay, so this is my Documents Set 2 collection. So Documents 2 collection papers, and this is the Damask, the Damask Pale Set 2. Now, I saw this nifty trick how to make a square on somebody else's channel years ago, and I've kind of stuck with it ever since because it's such a brilliant way to make a square. So basically, take your paper and fold it into this corner here, and then just kind of like crease it down and then cut it along this fold line here, or not the fold line, but you know, the edge of where you folded the paper to. So cut it like that. That is going to then have given you, when you unfold it, a square piece of paper. Now, obviously, you know, you might not have cut it quite perfectly. I definitely might not have cut it quite perfectly, but that's going to be fine. It's still going to work. So that's your paper. So decide which side you want on the, you know, the main sort of feature. So I want this document side to be the main feature. I'm going to just fold it up like that. Okay. And then I'm going to just take it and fold it the other way. So like that. Okay. Now then I'm going to unfold it. Now at this point, you can then have a look and see which side you want to be your front of your pocket, if you see what I mean. So because mine is a directional paper, in an ideal world, I wouldn't want that as my front of my pocket because of course it's upside down. I don't mind that. I know it's sideways on, but you know, that's preferable to obviously upside down. I could have that one, or I could have that side. So just decide which side you want. I think I quite like this sideways on one, to be honest. Do we? Yeah, I think that's quite nice. Oh no. Yeah, I'm going to use the sideways on. Right, okay, so that being the case, what you want to do is open your page out and then fold this down. Now this is going to be your front pocket, okay? So you want to fold it down, you know, about kind of like 2/3 of the way into your square at a triangle. Then go to the facing side, so directional, and do the same again, but a much smaller triangle. Okay, so like that, because that's going to form your 2 pockets when you fold your piece in, if you see what I mean. Okay, like that. So then what you need to do is basically we need to cut a section for this one to be behind this one. So you need to cut in the folded edge here. Now I have to say I'm never very good at cutting along a fold. Okay, so then when you fold it in, this is going to come here. This one is going to come up here. And then this is going to fold around the back. So I hope that kind of made sense. And then, of course, if you've kind of got an overhang down here, you can just trim that up a little bit. So I'll just trim that down there. That's just because I'm not very good at cutting onto the fold. So then what you want to do is obviously glue down all your bits and pieces. So I'm going to, whoops, glue down my big triangle. Okay, oops. Oh, come on, glue. Oh, come on. Right, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. First time I've used my glue today, so I'm sure, and I've said this loads of times before, it's because the temperature kind of, you know, changes, I think. So our house unfortunately gets very cold, and obviously we've got our heating kind of turned off. It's still on, but you know, the thermostat's right down because it's warming up. But that means kind of overnight the house gets very, very chilly. So I think what happens, the glue then, you know, is temperamental when the temperature's up and down, up and down. Okay, so glue your 2 triangles in first. So just then mop that up. And then what you want to do is fold your pieces in. So first of all, sorry, just noticed a bit more glue. First of all, we're going to take this one, which needs to come over here, okay? And you want to glue it down on this edge. Then you're going to take this one up like that. Now, it's up to you, really, when I say that you're going to glue it down on this edge. It's up to you, really, whether you want to glue it down on that edge or whether you want to actually leave that open as a bigger opening to be able to use that pocket. I might do some and some, to be honest. So, yeah, I think kind of it's quite nice to have a bigger pocket. So I might sort of do a few either way. So I'm going to pop some glue straight down that edge there. Take that over and just smoosh that down like that. Okie dokie. And then you're going to bring the next pocket up like that. Now, again, up to you whether you glue this little section down. I mean, you might decide it's too small, you know, to bother. You might just kind of think, well, it's quite small, I'll just leave it open. But again, up to you. You know, you've got versatility with these pockets and there's no rules. So then you're going to take the back and glue that onto the back. Now, at this point, another little caveat really. It's up to you if you want to glue this down completely like that, or if you want to make another pocket. So to make another pocket, obviously glue on just 2 sides and glue it like that. And then you'd have, you know, a top loading pocket there. It's up to you. And the reason I say that is because I personally would find these quite a flimsy pocket at the top. You know, I mean, obviously the rest of it is nice and, you know, robust. It's got lots of layers of paper and things. But for me personally, I would find that top piece quite thin to use as a sort of single layer pocket. So therefore, I will probably glue all of mine closed. But if you are, you know, not as clumsy as me, and you are sort of happier to leave them open, then that will give you another pocket. So it's up to you really how you do them. But to be honest, I think it's quite nice just, you know, shut anyway. And when you glue that down, obviously you could glue it either as like a tuck spot just on like 3 sides and the whole thing, or, you know, glue it down on 3 sides like that, and you'd have it as a top loading pocket. So then up to you, but you can kind of customize them by, you know, rounding the corners and things like that. I mean, I think that looks quite nice with just one corner rounded. You know, you can then change them to sort of suit yourself really. So they're a really sort of super quick and easy pocket, aren't they? And, you know, very, very, very cute. They are quite small, and that's why I say paper wise, you're not going to want a really small book page. You know, you're better off with the like coffee table type design book. So I will run you through one more because they are a little bit, you know, involved to make. So I've got here, this is my new bees collection paper, and I made this to coincide with the freebie that I put up at Easter. So I hope you've all kind of like been over, if you wanted the freebie, been over and grabbed one. So this is the bees collection in, I think this one is the purples, the yeah, the pinks and purples, or the pinks and lilacs. There are 2. There's a blue and this might, oh, I can't remember, I'm afraid. You'd have to have a look, I'm afraid. But obviously you'll be able to see in the pictures kind of which is which really, hopefully. So this one, now I've backed it onto one from the same, you know, the same collection. And yeah, just need to decide which way round I want it. So I'm going to have it this way. So going to just make my square piece of paper. I mean, don't you love this little trick? I mean, I'd never seen this before, and possibly it's something that perhaps you've all done for years, but yeah, I hadn't seen it, and I thought, wow, that's such a brilliant way to make a square sheet of paper. Okay, so then I'm going to just take this and just trim it down on this edge. Okay, like that. Put that in my scraps bin. Not bin, but envelope. Open it out. Now, again, what you want to do is decide where you want your front of your pocket to be. Again, this is a directional paper, so I'm kind of thinking this is rather nice. So therefore, I would want to probably do my fold here. Oh, sorry. Forgot to fold it in. So, yeah, fold it in like this. One. And then this side, fold that in like that. Okay, so for me to have obviously this side as my front of my pocket, I'm going to just fold this one in now. Do you remember we made that triangle kind of like 2/3 down the pocket, and then we go to the opposite side and we fold it in just a small amount this time, like that. Okay, like that. So then what we've got is like this. So at this point, we need to obviously make it so that we can have this fold, this pocket going behind here, if you see what I mean. So therefore, we need to cut this fold. So try and remember it's the fold at the bottom of your smaller triangle. I hope that makes sense. Fold at the bottom of the smaller triangle. So again, straight down that fold line, that bit that I'm really not very good at. Check that you've got your folds in the right place, because that's probably the most complicated bit, is actually getting your folds all, you know, lined up in the right places. Okay, and then like that, and just fold your sheet of paper then like that. Obviously you can trim it up. I mean, you can see I've just got a bit of an overhang there, but that's fine. I can trim that up now. So opening it out again, we're going to glue down our triangles. So first one, like that. Then open this one, do that triangle there. Okay. then remember that one goes over there and this one goes up there, and it's coming this way round. Okay, so this time I want to just glue this pocket down here on this side like that. Okie dokie. And then this one, yeah, we'll just glue this little tiny bit down a bit. There we go. And then we're going to glue this whole back sheet onto that back sheet of paper. So all around there. Okay. Like that. And fold that up like that. Okay, and then use your glue spreader to just spread that glue out. There we go. Like that, and then I can just cut up the edge where I've got that slight overhang with the paper, just to get rid of that. There we go. And then anywhere else, you know, where you just haven't got it quite lined up, you maybe have much better cutting than me and therefore won't need to do that. But yeah, for me, I normally need to tidy a little bit up. And then I've just rounded again the top corner. Not essential, but you know, I think that looks nice. So you've got a pocket there, and then I'd glue it in perhaps on 3 sides, top load-in pockets, or just 2 sides and have it as a, you know, big tuck spot. So they're very nice pockets, aren't they? And yeah, we're just going to mass make them now, assembly line style. So we're going to do all the same stages at all the same stages, and we'll just relax, have a lovely catch up, and yeah, hopefully just have a really productive, enjoyable kind of 45 minutes or so. Okay, sorry about that. I just wanted to finish my cup of tea quickly. Right, okay, so yeah, hope everybody's week has started out well. So this is more of my bees collection from the same, you know, the same papers. So I'm going to just take them into their triangles first. Actually, I might not use that one just a minute because I don't want to have loads of papers from the loads of pockets from the same papers. This is my capital collection papers, and I've backed it on to the bees collection in I think this might have been the greens and lilacs, if that's the name of it. Again, you know, you'd have to go on and check, but I'm sure that, you know, I'm sure you'd be able to see which one was which. So I'm just going to make my triangles with all the papers first. This is from my new patisserie collection in the pinks and greens. So yeah, just take that one down. So I hope everybody's week has started out well. For those people who watch my channel, you'll know that I film these on a Monday to go up for you guys on the Tuesday. So my week's literally only just started. Obviously, there was no mass making last week because it was the bank holiday weekend. So it's been a long time. I'm going to move this one because this was again from the patisserie collection in the pinks and greens. So I'm just going to not do kind of 2 of the same. This is from the patisserie collection, but in the blues and the pinks. So yeah, let's do one from here. Yeah, so we didn't have one last week, and I can't remember now what video I put up instead, to be honest. Yeah, can't remember. So anyway, I hope you've all had a good couple of weeks. This is my Totally Dotty collection papers, which I've used actually to back a few of these because they're a nice neutral kind of paper and they go with lots of things. So this is again from that pink and blue patisserie papers. So I am going to use this because it's going to look quite different to the other one. So I think it's okay to use the same one. This is again the Capital collection, and I backed it onto this beautiful, vibrant polka dot paper from the Totally Dotty collection. Yeah, so what have I been up to? Well, I'm sure I'd finished the Handmaid's Tale on the last mass making. So yes, and lots of you have commented where you are getting it, you know, the new season 6 of the Handmaid's Tale. So yeah, I'm still really gutted because we still obviously do not have that. It's, I think the 3rd of May is the date. This is from the Hydrangea collection pages, and this is from the Totally Dotty as well. And then this is from the Bees collection, but in the lilacs and backed on again to the Totally Dotty. So yeah, truly gutted, to be honest, and even more so because I have not found anything to replace it. with at all. I'm struggling for, you know, finding something that I can settle into. I mean, I'm maybe not really giving things a fair chance, if I'm truthful. You know, because I don't know about you guys, but unless something really, really, really grips me, I tend to then be sat doing other things. You know, I'm on my laptop making digitals or, you know, doing other stuff. And so, yeah, I'm not probably giving things my full attention. This is my Avery collection, by the way, in the, I think it's the browns, or it could be from the duck eggs, actually. And this, again, from the Pale Damask set 2. This is another one from that patisserie collection, but this is the pink patisserie collection. Oh, those must have all been from the blue patisserie collection. These are from the pinks. So, yeah, again, which one shall I use? They're very lovely papers, aren't they? Perhaps we'll use this one. Perhaps we'll use this one, yeah. It looks like it's quite geared up for these types of pockets. Yeah, so I'm probably not giving anything my full attention, if I'm truthful. And lots of you have recommended things, which I do really appreciate. A couple of things I haven't then been able to find. I can't remember what it was. Somebody had recommended the other day, something with Kevin Bacon. And it wasn't the one that's on Netflix, which might be called... Oh, gosh, what's it called? I feel like it might be called... I can't remember. Something beginning with B, I think. It's not that one. I think it might have been called... I feel like Shooter, but I don't think that was the title of it. But something beginning with S. I can't remember. But when I looked, that's not available on a channel that I have. So I have Netflix and I have Prime, because obviously, you know, Prime delivery gets Prime Video. So those are the two channels that I have. So whatever it was that I did then look for, I couldn't then find, which was a bit of a shame. And the other Kevin Bacon one that is on Netflix, beginning with B, whatever that is, it just didn't really look my type of thing, to be honest. And again, I could be just totally misjudging it and I might be really missing out. It might be a really good series, but yeah, I just felt like it wasn't really for me. So I haven't been watching that. I tried to watch that thing called Schitt's Creek. Now... loads of people have told me that's really good. I have to say my ex-husband really liked it, which, you know, maybe that's what's preventing me from wanting to watch it. I don't know. But my son absolutely loved it. And he had kept on saying to me, oh, Mum, you'll think it's so funny. And I said to him, well, I have tried watching it a couple of times. I'm not finding it that funny. I don't know why. Again, maybe it's just because I'm like on my laptop and not really focusing properly. I don't know. But then one of my friends at the gym, he also said, oh, Schitt's Creek, I loved it. It was so funny. So I thought, right, I'm going to have to give this another chance because obviously, you know, it must be really good. These people are finding it really funny. I still didn't find it very funny. And yeah, I mean, let me know. Have you watched Schitt's Creek? I think that's on... that's on Netflix. Yeah, if you have, what did you think to that? I'm not convinced. But yeah, let me know if you've watched it. Did you enjoy it? Was it good? Is it worth a watch? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a bit judgmental, but it's just not grabbing me so far. So that's that. I watched something called Black Work, which was with, oh gosh, who's that? You know, she's quite famous and she's been in loads of stuff. Oh, is her name Cheryl somebody? She was in Gavin and Stacey. She was Smithy's sister. What's her name? Oh, honestly, I would know her name normally, but because I'm filming, it's now just a complete blank. Anyway, it had her in it. No, I didn't really enjoy that particularly either. It was okay. You know, I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. It was okay. But definitely not something that I would go back to anybody and say, oh, watch that. You know, no, definitely not great. Which is such a shame. But it could just be because I loved The Handmaid's Tale so much. Nothing else is comparing. I don't know. So this is a directional paper. So again, I just need to kind of decide which way round I want this. So, you know, I'm going to just fold my sides in. And then hopefully I might be able to see bit better which way it's going to go. Well, I quite like that actually, so I'm going to do my folds like that. Yeah, Oh, I've been a bit naughty. I just folded it straight in there. I didn't open it back up. Don't know whether that's going to make a difference. Well, we'll soon find out, won't we? Yeah, anyway, so it could just be that. So let me know below if you are one of the lucky places or one of the lucky people to have a place where the Handmaid's Tale season 6 is already out. I know they're drip feeding it, which, oh, that's really frustrating, but oh my goodness, what are you thinking? Is it good? I've been watching reviews and things of it, so I mean, I kind of know what's going on, but I don't mind that. I quite like a spoiler, to be honest, which is, I know, very strange. But yeah, sometimes I think it's quite handy for me, because otherwise, where I'm not really concentrating on a program, it doesn't matter so much, because I'm like, oh yeah, that's this bit. I know what's going to happen here. So it's, yeah, almost handy for me to have a spoiler, to be honest. But yeah, I've been watching some reviews and things. So I know that the episodes are shorter than normal, which that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Like, you know, do you feel like a bit shortchanged because it's so good, you know, and you've been waiting all this time, and now it's like, oh no, you know, not getting the full length? Or isn't it really kind of like bothering you? Is it really good? Let me know what you think. So I did have a lovely lady from Australia comment and say that they are also getting Handmaid's Tale, which, yeah, I don't know whether it's just us in the UK who aren't, or yeah, let me know if you live in Europe anywhere or anywhere else. So America, I know they're getting it, and now we know Australia are getting it. Let me know if you're anywhere else. Are you getting the Handmaid's Tale as well? Is it just us who are not getting it? Because, wow, I feel really, really shortchanged. I'm like, oh no. But yeah, anyway, I can't wait for that to come out. But I know I did say before, I'm deciding whether I'm going to actually restrain myself from watching it, because if it's coming out here being drip fed like it has been, you know, in the States and in Australia, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to watch it like that. You know, that would drive me potty. So I might, if I can, and I'm not saying I will be able to restrain myself, but if I can manage to stop myself from watching it, I might stop myself and wait for the whole thing to be available. Yeah, because that will just drive me potty, having to wait every week for the next episode. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm still talking about The Handmaid's Tale all these weeks on, which is like crazy, isn't it? Never watched a series other than 24 that I've loved so much. So yeah. Anyway, so that's my viewing or lack of viewing. So last week, my son and I went to the cinema and we watched something called The Penguin Lessons. It was with, oh gosh, what's his name? It's not Alan Partridge. I'm sure that's his character. Oh, what's his name? Anyway, him. I'm sure Alan Partridge is the character and not his name, but now I'm saying that, I'm thinking, oh, is that right? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, with him. Oh my goodness, it was so good. Yeah, just my son and I went to see it, and it was such a shame because I tried to get my daughter to come, and I said, oh, it's going to be a really nice film, you know, I think you should come. She hates the cinema, so she just said, no mum, you know I hate the cinema. Which, yes, she's right, I do know that she hates the cinema. So anyway, she did not come, and you know, I spent half the film saying to my son, oh, your sister should have come, she would have loved this. Well, I have to say, then there was a sad part, which we both said, oh, thank goodness she didn't come, because she gets very upset in a film if something, you know, if something upsetting happens, it really upsets her. So on this one, because it is a directional paper, I can't have these on there. But this, I'm going to kind of like cut off a lot of the decorative bits. So I think this one I'm going to use like upside down and have it that way, because then I still keep those flowers showing. Anyway, yeah, so there was a sad bit, I have to say, which was really sad, but it was such a brilliant film. It was based on a true story. It was in the 70s, and it was this chap who's a teacher, and he somehow acquires this penguin. Like, basically he finds a penguin, and it's kind of been you know, victim of like an oil spill. So it's kind of like beached on the beach. And he really, to impress this woman, sort of rescues it. You know, he's like, oh, you know, yeah, I'll rescue it. Really, it's just all to impress her. But anyway, so then what happens is he kind of like cleans the penguin up and all this. And the next day, you know, tries to kind of put it back in the sea. And the penguin's just having none of it. And then just follows him back out of the sea and things. And so in the end, he's like, oh, you know, and ends up taking the penguin with him. And then he's trying to get the penguin like housed in a zoo. And by the time that he gets an appointment with the zoo, right, so again, just need to kind of like decide which way round I want this. So I think here. So I can start folding my triangles in now, but I need to be careful because where I'm chatting, I could end up messing these up. So anyway, he goes to the zoo and manages to get the penguin placed in a zoo. But by the time that he's got the appointment, he's now quite attached to the penguin. So whereas at first he was kind of like, yeah, I'm going to do my folds and my cuts, I think. So whereas at first he, you know, he just kind of like found the penguin a bit nuisancey and just, you know, he wanted to obviously just put it in the zoo. He's now begun to, you know, really love the penguin. And when he sees the conditions that the penguin would be going into at the zoo, he doesn't then want to leave the penguin at the zoo, because the penguin's going to have to spend like, I think it's 6 weeks or something in quarantine in this tiny little kind of cage, which does not look very nice. And of course he now loves the penguin, so he can't stand the thought of, you know, having to do that. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. So oh gosh, oh, let's hope I'm cutting this in the right place, because where I'm talking I'm struggling to concentrate, and I'm doing this pocket the other way around. So yeah, I might have put that in the wrong place now, but anyway, let's fingers crossed. So right, I said I was going to do this one, didn't I? Yeah, anyway, so he ends up keeping the penguin, and to cut a long story short, and I am dragging it out, so I do apologise for that, he ends up, he's a kind of failing teacher, and, you know, his students kind of, they just ignore him, and they're, you know, running riot in the school and, you know, not behaving very well. And then what happens is he takes the penguin into the lessons, and the boys all really, it's a boys' school, the boys all really kind of like fall in love with the penguin as well. And, you know, they sort of are responsible for the boys then behaving themselves and turning themselves around in school and things like that. So, yeah, it's such a lovely, lovely, lovely film. And then obviously I looked it up because there was this one clip where they put the penguin in the school pool. Oh my goodness, and the penguin just goes off swimming, and it's so gorgeous. And obviously all I could think of was Bo. Every time I see any cute animal now, I straight away I'm like, oh, it's like Bo, it's like Bo. I mean, it might be nothing like Bo. I mean, obviously a penguin's not really like her, but you know, I just equate every cute animal to, oh, it's like Bo. So yeah, it was so sweet when this penguin went in this pool, and then it's swimming around. And then when I looked when I got home, and it had like footage of that penguin then swimming in the pool, you know, because obviously he'd filmed it on his great big bulky camera at the time, you know, in the 70s. And oh, it was so cute. I just, yeah, very, very, very touching film, I have to say. So yes, if you haven't seen it and you're kind of like thinking, oh, should I go to the cinema, you know, if you just fancy a nice film at the cinema, I would say that is a nice film. There was a very sad part to it, I have to say. So yeah, you know, I will kind of just warn you there, but it was a lovely film. So yeah, anyway, that's what we went to see last week, which was really rather lovely. What else have I been up to? Well, not a lot, I have to say. So yeah, it was the school holidays. My daughter went back to school last week after the bank holiday weekend. So yeah, she had been on school holidays, and then she went back on Tuesday. Yeah, kind of don't think there's anything very much really to say. I don't think we really did anything in the school holidays. Yeah, I was obviously just working, so yeah, we didn't really kind of do anything, to be honest. Yeah, that's kind of pretty much it, really. I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who placed an order in the restock video that I did, and you know, anyone who's placed an order since then or anything else. Yeah, I so appreciate your support. It really is, you know, very much appreciated. I posted items out last Thursday, I think it was. Yeah, I think Thursday. So yeah, hopefully you'll all get your items quite soon. I am a little bit behind with my emails, so I just apologise for that, I have to say. But yeah, so just a massive thank you. A thank you to anybody who's placed an order in my Etsy shop also. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, you know, obviously that's kind of like how I keep going, is obviously from orders that people place. So really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. There we go. What else have I been up to at the weekend? Well, the weather was finally quite nice. So on the Saturday, obviously went to the gym. My son came to the gym, then he was going out with a friend, so he was not going to be around then until like Sunday, quite late Sunday afternoon. So it was just my daughter and I. So Saturday we went and met a friend from the gym, actually Gary's best friend, you know, my lovely friend Gary who died. It's his best friend, so went and met him for a coffee with my daughter, and then we went on the sausage walk, which obviously takes place at the beach, and that was also with that same friend, but his wife obviously was on that walk as well. So yep, and obviously a whole bunch of other people. It was a really good turnout, actually. I don't know how many people were on the walk, but sometimes more than others, and I would say that seemed a, you know, really big turnout on Saturday. The weather was nice. Yeah, it was nice, actually. I think it was like well, I don't know what temperature, actually. I didn't really look, but yeah, it was nice because it was you know, I just wore a jumper, my jeans and a jumper, so yeah, it was quite nice, and only quite a thin jumper as well, so it was good weather on Saturday. And then yesterday did the food shopping and then rushed home because it was actually lovely weather. So yeah, sat out in the garden. I did try and persuade my daughter to come and sit out in the garden, but she didn't want to, so yeah, she went to the park with her friend instead. And then when my son got home, he was quite jealous because he loves sunbathing, and you know, he would have sat out in the garden. He said, oh, I know. He said, I couldn't believe the weather. I actually was like, oh, gutted that I'm not at home sunbathing. I mean, he has an all year round tan, so to be honest, he didn't really need to be worrying about it. And I did say, well, you're browner than the rest of us all the time, so come on, give us all a chance to catch up. You don't really need to be out there anyway. So yeah, but anyway, so that was my day yesterday, which was lovely to be able to get out in the garden. And I have to say, today is also looking gorgeous. So fingers crossed, the weather is kind of like cheering up, because over Easter weekend, it was freezing, absolutely freezing again. And I just thought, oh, when are we going to get some decent weather? I mean, it wasn't, I don't think it was raining. I'm saying it wasn't. It might have rained a little bit on one of the days, but yeah, it was very cold anyway. So I mean, Easter weekend we literally did nothing. We barely left the house, so I just worked. And yeah, I mean, obviously if the weather had been nicer, maybe we'd, you know, done some walks or something. Although, to be honest, my daughter does not like walking, so yeah, she doesn't really want to ever join in a walk or anything. Yeah, so that was that. Still been using my bike. I know I talked about the fact that we'd cleared the side of our house down a bit, and yeah, we can now access our bikes, which we haven't really been able to access them for a while. So yeah, I'm still using that, and I've been going to the gym on my bike, not when it's freezing, and definitely not if it's raining. But yeah, if the weather's, I mean, I say okay. I mean, one morning I did go on it and it was 4 degrees. I have to say that was a little bit too cold for my liking, but I have been trying to use it to go to the gym, and yeah, it's saving me a fortune in petrol, I have to say, because you know, those little journeys, they're the ones that actually use all the fuel, aren't they? I mean, the gym, I don't know how far it is, but I mean, it's like a 5-minute drive. So, I mean, it's probably like 1.5 miles or something, but they're the journeys that are, you know, very expensive to drive, aren't they? So, yeah, by going on my bike to the gym, I'm really kind of like, you know, my petrol gauge is barely going down compared to how it does normally. So it's really been brilliant. And then, like, when my daughter and I went in and met my friend for a coffee on Saturday, we also went on our bikes, which was, you know, again, brilliant and great for her as well, because obviously that's a bit of exercise. And, you know, she doesn't like walking, bless her. So if I can get her out on her bike, that's good, isn't it? So, yeah. And we've done that most weeks, actually, since we've had our bikes. I think we didn't do it on Easter weekend, I don't think, because that was that really cold weekend. We didn't bother then. But I think all the other weekends we've gone out on our bikes, just into town. I mean, it's not very far. But, yeah. So it's been brilliant having our bikes back. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, trying to think what else I have been up to. I think that's pretty much it, really, which, I mean, how boring is that? But yeah, that's just how my life is, really, just boring. Yeah. Oh, went to my mum and dad's after the sausage walk on Saturday, because they live near the beach, so it sort of made sense to just pop into there on our way back. So we popped in there, and when we got there, my sister Natalie, she was also there with her son, and she was going to cook dinner for my mum and dad. So she had tried this new recipe. It was like a Greek recipe. It was chicken, so I mean, I didn't really eat that, to be honest, because, you know, obviously I don't eat meat. But, you know, she had salad and things like that with it, and some, they weren't wraps. I don't know really what they were. Like, oh, a flatbread. I'm sure that's what she said they were. They're flatbread. With like hummus and stuff, and, you know, this lovely salad and things. So, yeah, that was really nice. So that was very nice on Saturday evening. And then, you know, we got back sort of, I don't know, about 7:30 or something on the Saturday night. So we had a very nice time there. It was nice to, you know, have a healthy meal cooked by somebody else. So that was good, because, I mean, I've said before, but, I mean, to be honest, I barely bother cooking at all now. Even my daughter just says, oh, no, Mum, don't cook for me, please, you know. So, yeah, I don't really bother. And then I just end up eating rubbish, you know. I mean, quite often I just have muesli for my dinner because, you know, I can't be bothered to really cook for myself. So, yeah, it's all a bit dysfunctional, really. I mean, it used to be always we would have, like, you know, proper family meals, sitting down together and all of that. And then we carried on doing that for a while after my husband moved out, you know, my ex-husband moved out. And then, to be honest, it was just kind of like a gradual thing, I suppose. But eventually just my son obviously started working, and then he would get in at different times and things like that. Sometimes he'd go to the gym after work and things, you know. So he obviously was like, no, don't bother making me dinner. My other son obviously had moved out. And then it was just my daughter and I. And then she's now just like, no, don't cook for me. I'd rather make it myself. Even if, you know, like, I know what she's having and I say, oh, let me make it for you. No, I don't like how you do it. I want to do it. So, yeah, she just kind of makes her own. I mean, she doesn't have anything very gourmet. Although, that being said, she can kind of like rustle up a tomato-y kind of pasta sauce, which is pretty good. I mean, she's only 11. So, yeah, she's quite good. But yeah, she doesn't even want me cooking. So, hey, I don't need telling twice. If people don't want my cooking, there's no point doing it, is there? But obviously that means that, you know, I then think, oh, what's the point in cooking for myself? You know, there's no point. And also everyone likes different things. Where, again, when the boys were small, I was very strict and would just be like, no, I've cooked this, you're eating it, you know. And we'd all be sat down and I'd just make them sit at the table until they had finished it. You know, and to be honest, I mean, they thank me for that now because they're very good eaters and there's really very little that they won't eat. Well, my daughter was a bit of a different kettle of fish anyway. There was no way you could force her to eat anything. And then, of course, you know, when I was then, you know, my husband moved out, it just became where, like, you know, it was, I haven't really got time to be sat here at the table endlessly, you know, for an hour and a half trying to make her eat something that she's just not going to eat. You know, because obviously I was then working sort of all the time and, you know, had other things to do. So, yeah, I then became sort of much more slapdash where I would have something, she would have something different. And then, of course, that just evolved into her being like, no, Mum, I prefer it how I cook it, you know. So, yeah, even if I say, you know, let's say she had jacket potato with cheese and beans. Oh, she just wouldn't like how I've done it, you know. She'd want it done differently. So, yeah. Which, hey, I mean, I'm not complaining. Who wants to be cooking anyway? So, you know, there's that side of things. But it's a bit of a shame, really, because no longer have kind of like family meal times and things, which I think is like very important actually for, you know, family life. But yeah, I guess just that's how families have gone now. And I mean, I can always remember the boys would come home from school and say, oh, Mum, would you believe we're the only people in the class who actually sit down as a family and eat together? Nobody else does. And at the time I kind of thought, wow, that's shocking, you know, and just thought that was really sad. And now, of course, we are now also guilty of that. So, yeah, it is a shame, to be honest, but I think that's just how it is. And I mean, like I say, partly because people come in at different times and things like that, you know, or quite often my daughter has like someone around for tea or around for a sleepover, you know. So then, of course, they're having something completely different and they're just wanting to eat together, you know. So, yeah, it's kind of gone like that. But, I mean, I'm not saying that's ideal, and definitely that wouldn't be how I would choose for it to be. But that's just how it seems to have gone. There we go. Yeah, it's so strange, isn't it? I mean, life's so very different now to how it was years ago. And I'm not saying it was years ago, you know, when obviously my boys were small. You know, it wasn't years ago. I mean, my eldest son is 22, my other one's 18. But I think just even in that time, life has changed so much. You know, I mean, everyone's obviously on their gadgets now, their devices, you know, myself included. You know, and obviously we're all just working all the time. And yeah, I just think it's kind of like, and I mean, I think lots of things have changed for the better, you know. I mean, isn't it amazing and incredible now that we can all get access to all these things, you know. But I think it's come at quite a high price, to be honest, because I think, you know, things like family life, they're sort of like not so much in existence, are they? But anyway, that's my little sad note for the day. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just important to then grab family time when you can. So, you know, if you can kind of like, I don't know, on a special occasion, have a nice meal together, or, you know, just something like that, really. Sometimes we just go up to the hill and we'll, you know, just take like our dinner with us and sit in the car and have it together, you know. And then we might take Bo with us as well and give her a little walk around the top. And, you know, that's kind of nice to do. We did that, in fact, last Sunday. And it was just nice to, yeah, hang out and spend some time together. So it wasn't a traditional family meal as in sat around a table, but we were having our dinner together, you know, in some sense. Right, I'm going to leave these and do these afterwards because otherwise I'll run out of time. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 left to glue. But we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is pretty good. So I'm just going to round the corners. I mean, I don't necessarily think that they all need the corners rounding. That being said, actually, no, I think I will, because they do look very cute with the top corner rounded, don't they? Oh my goodness, what went on with that rounding? I have no idea, but I didn't make a very good job of it, did I? I don't know why I've started doing this freehand instead of using my corner rounder. It's silly. I'd have better results with the corner rounder, but never mind. So yeah, let's decorate one up. Now, I brought along some bits and pieces to decorate up. So I did bring along some of my cake, my patisserie toppers, and I've printed these ones 2 to a page. So I mean, you get them obviously full size, but I thought these might be a little bit on the big side because these are pretty tiny pockets. So I've got them printed smaller here. So let's decorate this one. Oops. Okay, which one should we use? I'm actually thinking these might be too small now. So yeah, perhaps I will use the bigger ones after all. Okay, let's just use one from here. Okay, let's do this one. There we go. And yeah, I did mention earlier, so I'll just say it again in case anybody missed the announcement thing that I did. I did put up a freebie on the Easter of like bees kind of toppers, which obviously coordinate with the bees papers. So if you hadn't got those, they're available on my Buy Me a Coffee page. I think on my Ko-fi page as well, and on my website. So yeah, on those 3 places you could get those bees toppers. So any one of those places, obviously they are free. So yeah, if you haven't, you know, managed to get yourself a little set of those, then please do head over and grab yourself a set. They're very cute, and I have used them quite a bit, I have to say, since I put them up there. So yeah, head over and have a look. There we go. I'm filming another series at the moment for you, so I think I'm about 3 episodes in, and then I've also got another. It's just going to be a mini series. It was something that I had started filming a while back, and a bit like the Saturday Stash Busters, which actually reminds me I must make a quick note of that, or not a quick note, but you know, just mention something about that. Yeah, so it was something I'd started filming a while back, and then it kind of again went out the window because then I was busy with you know, life and stuff, and yeah, I've picked it back up, but I've sort of run out of ideas anyway, so it's just going to be probably a little mini series, but that will come later in the year, because I have now already filmed a whole of another series, and now I'm obviously filming another one. So I'm, yeah, building up a few series for you guys. So yep. Oh my goodness, how cute is that? Now I have got this pink. We might have an overdose of pink here. What do we think? I mean, I do love pink, don't get me wrong. I do really love pink. So for me, you can never have enough, but just wondering whether, like, for everyone else, they might think, oh, come on, not more pink, surely. What's she doing? Let's just see. I've got some cream lace, which might just be better to sort of break it up a little bit. Let's just have a look. Oh yeah, I think that does look better. I mean, I did quite like this, but yeah, it was definitely a lot of pink going on there, wasn't it? So I'm just going to put this down across here. Oh, what was it? Oh, what was I going to say? Oh gosh, that's twice now that I thought, oh yep, that's it, and no, it's gone again. Hang on a second. Oh no, what was I going to say? Oh, that's so frustrating. I literally said it just now. And oh yes, the Saturday Stash Busters, that's it. Yes, I do apologise. I did not put an announcement up, but if you'd been watching that you know, Saturday kind of series, obviously you may have noticed that there wasn't one on Saturday. It's because it's ended now. I did say at the beginning in the trailer there were just, I think, you know, I can't remember, 7 or 8 or something like that episodes of that, which I had filmed, you know, ages and ages ago, and then I filmed, I think, 1 more recently. But yeah, that was all there was of them. So if you wondered why there wasn't one on Saturday, it's just they've now, you know, they've all been used up. So yeah, that's why there wasn't one on Saturday. So I apologise for not having put out a sort of announcement, but I didn't want to inundate you with the posts because I'd already put a post out saying that I'd forgotten to list one of my folios on the restock video. So I didn't want to be a nuisance to everybody putting another post out, really. So yeah, anyway, that was why there wasn't one, is because it's actually come to an end now. But I hope that you enjoyed the series, you know, whilst it was running. Oh, and yeah, that's the other thing. I have now put more of the printed paper packs in my shop. So I was having problems with my printer. But yeah, that was what I was quite busy doing at the weekend. Oh, my hot glue gun's not plugged in. That's just awful. Let me just plug it in. Hang on 2 minutes. Oh gosh, sorry about that. That's normally the first thing I do when I get into my craft room, is turn the hot glue gun on. Can't believe I hadn't. Oops, hold on 2 minutes. I'm so sorry about that. That was just my mum and dad seeing if I wanted to go for a coffee later. I said no, to be honest, because I've got quite a bit of stuff to do. So yeah, not going to meet them. So I've put this here, and hey, the good thing is that's enabled my hot glue gun to heat up while I was chatting to them. So let's pop this down here like that. Just thought that the little number tab looked pretty cute on there. There we go. I mean, to be honest, it looks cute even without any sort of topper, doesn't it? It's yeah, looks gorgeous. But yeah, I'm going to then just pop this on here. So I'm going to just hot glue this because it's heated up now. So let's make the most of using the hot glue. Pop that there. And then just very quickly pop the bit of bling on there in the middle of the bow, I think. There we go. How gorgeous is that? So cute. And I mean, literally, we've just got a number tab and just then that little topper from the patisserie ephemera pieces. So yeah, super cute pockets, aren't they? Really hope that you like them. Very, very quick and easy to do, and yeah, lots of different ways that you can use them. Like I say, with the rounded corners, you can round all the corners, you know, make them look different, and you know, pull them to sort of look as you want them to look, really. So yeah, hope you like them, and thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate a big thumbs up to this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate your subscribing, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.